out of that? Family. They were there for me. We can't do that now because of this political cesspool is what I call it. Because everybody, double income to survive. Nobody can stay home with their kids and watch their kids. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was a nosy mom. I was by their side 24/7. And if I wasn't there, I know for a fact one of them would have been on the streets. And she's only 25 years old. I feel we need to start educating these kids in our schools. MLAs, I hope you're listening, because it's gotten out of hand. We need to do something to protect these kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Landscape business and Jim, down from right here. Actually, you can just get a little closer to the mic there, you're big guy. Better? There you go, that's perfect, thanks. You know, in the last little less than a year, I have noticed a major downturn in what I'm seeing, like my gym downtown. I'm constantly dealing with individuals, sleeping bag steroids, vandalization, needles, all the rest of it. I get that Red Deer has a problem, and I think we've probably been isolated from it for a long time on account of the fact that we had this economic boom for a long time. We had natural resources. We had a lot of people working, and so some of the drug issue wasn't there. We just weren't seeing it as regularly as we are now. You know, people are saying us and them regularly in regards to addicts and the rest of us who are not. Regularly we're dealing with theft, we're dealing with vandalism, vehicles, homes, all the rest of it. Everybody in this room that owns a home or a vehicle is experiencing an increase in their insurance rates to some degree or another. We're all paying taxes already. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of rhetoric regarding let's just get rid of the safe consumption sites and let everybody deal with this shit on their own. You know, let the addicts deal with it on their own. But the bottom line is we're all paying the taxes. We're all paying for the policing, the additional policing. We're all paying for the additional, like I said, insurance. We're paying for incarceration for people, and it's not a fix. You know, like a couple of previous weeks it said the Michener Center. The Michener Center at one time housed about 2,300 people, and I know that some of the buildings aren't functional. They're not occupiable at this point in time. But the grounds, we have acres and acres and acres of space within the city, honestly within like a reasonable distance from where the current consumption site is. That property is owned by Alberta Health Services. It's not being used. It's been sitting there, like previous guy had said, for years. You know, after the last residents, I don't know if the last resident has moved out or is moving out or what the situation there is, but realistically, acres of space, unused buildings that were built to monitor, that were built to restrain, that were built to keep people, that were built for therapy, that were built for all these other things. And yeah, the Michener Center does have a bit of a smear of a name, I mean, based on its history, but the Alberta government could rewrite this. This isn't a municipal issue, right? We're throwing this at Safe Harbor and Turning Point and all the rest of it, and they're I mean, for their great efforts, they're not doing enough, and it's not their fault. The provincial government's handing them, you know, a bit of a crap sandwich and asking them to do something special with it. You can't expect that of these organizations. It's a Band-Aid, it's you know, it's a very acute fix to a huge problem. And we need federal money, we need provincial money, we need provincial efforts to go towards this, and I can appreciate what's being done, but it's not helping anything. If anything, it's exacerbating the issue, in my opinion. You know, the rates for housing children in Boston pay about $45,000 a kid per year, right? To incarcerate, depending on if it's high security women, the rates are a little bit dependent, but it's between $60,000 and $150,000 a year. The median income in Alberta is 70 grand, right? But the cost of incarceration is huge. Saying we need more laws, we need more enforcement does not fix the problem. Put those dollars towards something that can help individuals and help our culture, because we're not going anywhere if we keep on spending the way we're doing and expecting something for nothing.
Thank you.
Who's here right now? Unsafe families, taxpayers, unsafe homeowners, or is it safe injection site users? Where are they? Are they too busy stealing from us, getting high, using naloxone, pushing that high further than they know because they know they'll get revived again, revived by our tax dollars? Are you aware that opioid users are now preloading syringes with naloxone and then adding their opioids knowing that they can basically die and live through it just to get more high than the last time? The majority of these drug users didn't start by injecting drugs. They smoked, snorted, and orally consumed them. However, now, due to the readily available taxpayer-funded needles that are readily available, they can get higher quicker, more intensely, cheaper, and more addicted than before. Do you ever take a drive-by and see what's going on at the site? Bike chop shops, serial numbers being filed off our belongings. It's also a great place to get your drugs. Who's this safe for? Not us, not our kids, not our families, not us tax-paying, SIS funding individuals. Safe for the skids, safe for the drug addicts, safe for the thieves, safe for those who don't contribute, safe for the repeat junkies who are not willing to get help. My 3 kids aren't safe from the needles left in our schoolyards, the needles that we paid for with our taxes. My family and your families are not safe when these skids roam high out of their mind through our neighborhoods after leaving the safe injection site that we pay for.
Good evening. My name is Krista, and I kind of wear 3 hats. I'm a marathon runner. 2 years ago, I had no issues running the trails of Red Deer by myself. Now, I can't do that on a Saturday morning. I need a buddy system because the needles, the druggies, sleeping in the banks, I've been chased, I wear a personal alarm. Running the trails is not safe. Next thing, I am a business owner. My husband and I own a plumbing company. In Riverside Industrial. Have you ever been threatened to have a bullet in your head? My husband has, okay? Someone was trying to steal our plumbing van. He popped in, said, hey, get away. I said, I'm gonna put a bullet in your head. I'm gonna go get my gun and come back. These 5 cruisers showed up, arrested the guy. Guess what? 4 months later, thrown into court by the prosecutor, okay? There's nothing the police can do. Every weekend, every night, we drive down by our plumbing shop to make sure there's nothing vandalized. We've enhanced security systems, we've added floodlights, chain link fences. We cannot do enough. Our premiums for insurance has gone through the roof. We can't even put claims no more. Now, we pay out of pocket. We've been robbed so much. Our utility trailer's been stolen, our vans have been vandalized. We've had enough as a small business owner in Red Deer. Next thing, I work for the government. I work in a provincial building. Guess what? There's no doors on the bathrooms. I'm not sure if you're aware of that on the main floor because the needle users go in there on a regular basis and shoot up. We have children and families who visit our provincial building on a regular basis. They've now installed blue lights in these bathrooms. Guess what? Still doesn't deter them. I just walked out of the building the other day and there's a man in there yelling, screaming. He can't find his veins. 2 security guards are standing outside. I said, what are you gonna do about this? There's nothing we could do. Great, I work in a government building that house drugs and they shoot up in the bathroom. I feel really safe at my work, okay? This is getting ridiculous. The bathrooms now, we have swipes because they shoot up in the bathrooms. The cleaners empty the needles and the tiles in the bathrooms. This is a public washroom in a government building. Our business, like our personal business, we just add enough. Downtown is a mess. There's needles everywhere. I mean, it's like a zombie apocalypse some days because I'm there. I see it. I've been down there over 8 years. It's not getting better. The injection site is not the answer. We need rehabilitation services for these people. I looked them in the eye. There's people behind those eyes. They have hearts, but what you're doing is not helping them.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Oh, it's okay, take a breath and maybe just adjust the mic a little bit so that, because you're, make sure that it picks up your voice.
Are we good? Okay. So I'm Christina Smith. I own Dreamy Skies Photography and I'm also executive staff of Red Deer Cruising. And the question is, I'm noticing is a lot of people are either going kind of different ways of how they personally feel or how they won't. And I'm going to stick to the question is, what is the impacts? Positive, negative. The impact on the community, as you can see, has split it. It's divided it. We're not a community anymore. If someone needed help, we were there for them, and now it's a question of, do they do drugs? Do they access the site? Oh, the needles, pickup, who's responsible, who's not? It's time to go back to being a community, and unfortunately we need to end the divide. Next is resources. Yes, there was a resource that came out that said, yes, overdoses were decreasing the cost on ambulance services. Unfortunately, it is not decreasing the RCMP resources, mental health resources, or other resources that are needed by every citizen in this province, or even in this city. Even the officers are going, they will not go to certain areas because their lives are too much at risk. What does that say to the citizens in that area and living there? They're gonna fear more of whether their day is gonna end tomorrow, today. We don't know. The next is citizens. All of us are impacted. We're either victims of the facility being built and our voices not being heard of how we're against it, or we are the people that use it, or we're the mothers that have watched, or we're sisters that have watched our families go and commit suicide because there's no mental health. Because they rather go and stick the drug in their arm and go downhill and not have that mental health. The next is impact on businesses. Every single business, including my own, has suffered. We pay more in insurance, we're paying more in taxes. As soon as we put in our address, they go, oh, you have a safe injection site, so it's more highly likely that you will be broken into or have your vehicle vandalized, stolen. We pay more out of pocket, and I feel that's unfair, but then it goes and retreats down to normal citizens because we have to raise our prices to cover those costs, which then trickles down. Then we have our children. We're teaching them, don't do drugs, don't do this. Now today, you can't even go into your child's school and walk down to the class to greet them with positive reinforcement because it's a security risk. Because people have gone in and vandalized and almost caused harm to multiple children with pepper spray, or they may be seeking other resources, or maybe needles. A parent shouldn't have to worry about their child being in school, getting an education to be a proper person in society.
Just so that you know the time is.
Yeah, I'm gonna conclude as fast as I can. Basically, the safe injection site, yes, does save lives, but unfortunately there's no control, there's no monitoring. These people are allowed to overdose, and they're sent back out. We need to imply a way to control that if they overdose, that this could be considered suicide. It may need more mental help, and they get it. We need to stop promoting, and we need to start thinking about our children and everybody's status on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Barry Hanna. I'm a local business owner. I'm also a massage therapy instructor downtown. I was driving to work the other day, and I pulled in the back alley and got to drive by a lady defecating in the middle of the alley. And as I drove by, I got the finger. Now, I really do have to give it to the people that, you know, are there trying to hand out these clean needles and try and prevent disease, you know. But that being said, when I'm sitting down for dinner with my family and I get a phone call from my staff that there's somebody locked in the bathroom in my shop, and I have to go down there and wait for the police to show up, they pulled 6 needles out of his pocket. 6. Now, as a business owner and as a father, if I would have got physical with that individual, I would have gotten pretty easy. But at what point do we call that? It's not safe for my students to leave the school at night. You know, I walked out 3 weeks ago, and there was somebody cooking right in the front entrance of the school. Like, we have to lock the doors now during class time. And it shouldn't be the case. You know, I've been there for 15 years at my current location, and I've seen the ups and downs. I've watched people that were addicted to drugs go away and come back